It's time for This Is Life Moment with Rob McGowan. How we live always changes the world around us.
Well, it's for everybody who doesn't know, but this is Life Radio, and we're talking to Nathan DeLong about a new book that he's bringing out. Nathan's been a writer and editor. So, what are some of the different places that you've written for, Nathan?
I wrote for
you're published a couple of times
in the Fredericton area when I was about 14 or 15, and I grew up in the Woodstock area. Was a co-op student, freelancer, and intern reporter for several years for the Bugle Observer, which was my hometown publication. And after about 5 summers at the Bugle Observer, I was offered a position that lasted for about 5 months at the Telegraph Journal, and that was before I moved to the Miramichi in 2018 and was offered a full-time permanent position at the Miramichi Leader. So where I'm now a reporter and photographer.
Awesome. So, yeah, and we see a lot. You're always out doing stuff. Plus you're involved with all kinds of things with running and all kinds of stuff and helping charities and doing stuff. It's constantly seeing online doing things all the time. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, it keeps me out of trouble for sure. I'm an active member of the Point Church. I volunteer a fair bit there as well. And work keeps me busy. There's 2 reporters currently at the Miramichi Leader, and I'm one of them. So keeps me on my toes for sure. But it's better than being unemployed, I will say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know I took up distance running earlier this year to try to get in shape, be a little healthier, and get some exercise. So I participate in the runs that are hosted at least monthly by the Miramichi River Runners. So
awesome.
That me more active than I would have been otherwise. But I guess part of the reason I took that up was I was just too young to be as out of shape as I was several months ago. So,
well, the main reason we wanted to get together today was to talk about this new book. So it's basically on the history of Woodstock, right?
Yeah, you got it.
So what got you interested in thinking, I'd like to get, know everything about it? What was that one thing you thought, oh, that's kind of interesting, got you sort of going down that rabbit hole and looking into it all?
Well, it kind of started about 13 or 14 years ago, actually. I was in grade 7 at the time at Woodstock Middle School, and I was assigned a Heritage Fair project. And I chose to do that project on what I knew at the time with a little bit of research about the Woodstock area. It's New Brunswick's oldest incorporated town. And at that time, I was intrigued by a lot of the stories I'd heard from, my grandparents and family members and friends about what the area used to be like and how it got where it is today. So
what's one of the most interesting things you found out about in your research and studying it all up, and you come across and you said, wow, that was really interesting? Is there any one thing that sticks out to you?
It's hard to nail down anything in particular because there's just a rich history over there in the Woodstock area and a lot of information. There are a lot of stories that weren't taught in school and, different things about the area. I go in the book as far back as the Fort Meductic Indigenous village that was quite prominent in the present-day Hay settlement area, which is just south of the Woodstock area, with a recorded history dating back to at least the late 1600s. And I go pretty well up to the present day. So there are a lot of aspects I found about the Fort Meductic Indigenous village. The Maliseet Nation is the prominent one over there. And a lot of things I just didn't know about that because that was never discussed in schools. I kind of saw, signs for Fort Meductic and the Maliseet Trail in that area, which used to be a portage route that led almost to Bangor, Maine at one time. Like I said, that was one aspect that wasn't taught much in schools. There was actually an Orange riot between the Catholics and Orangemen, Protestants, in the year 1847 that happened right in downtown Woodstock that I had never heard of and wasn't familiar with. And that also wasn't taught in schools. I've included an essay about the Benny Swim case. Benny Swim was somebody in the early 1900s who was hanged twice for murder. Because the first attempt to hang him did not quite execute him. He was still breathing and starting to regain consciousness after the first attempt. So he was hanged a second time after he killed his cousin and her husband, I believe at the time, or partner. That's an intriguing part of Carleton County folklore. There's a few different versions of that story, but I found, I guess, the closest to the most official, and went with that. He was hanged on the gallows that existed at the time at the old Carleton County Jail, which is still standing, by the way, and now houses government offices and holding cells for the Woodstock courthouse.
Oh, right.
And yeah, there's quite a bit of intriguing details over there, some of which are widely known and discussed, and others that weren't, which is part of what got me interested in writing a book. I mean, another essay I include is on the Island Park, which was an island in the middle of the St. John River where the park facilities were located at one time. Access was off a wooden ramp at a 90-degree angle, halfway across a metal bridge that crossed the river at the time and was the link between Woodstock and Grafton and Northampton. I don't know how familiar people are with that area, but that's the communities. I don't know if you call them the suburbs, but they're right across the St. John River from the town of Woodstock. And when tourists would, or people from away, as we call them, would ask directions to Island Park, and they were told go halfway across the bridge and turn right, they'd look at you like you were crazy, but then they'd ask somebody else and they'd find the same answer. So yeah, the park facility was located there until the mid 1960s or late 1960s, when the Mactaquac Dam head pond was raised. And the Mactaquac head pond has also inundated the site of the Fort Maductic Indigenous Village. So I've included, those are some of the highlights.
Wow. So there's a lot of history there for sure.
Yeah, the book is 246 pages if you include the blank ones at the beginning and end. I've got several pages alone just with works cited so that I could.
So how are people? You're going to be doing your launch on Thursday night, is it? At 7:00?
Yep, Thursday at 7:00. It'll be done virtually on Facebook on my Nathan DeLong book page. That's Nathan DeLong -book for anyone who hasn't seen it. And I'll also be looking to post it on YouTube. I'll likely be pre-recording the launch and uploading it so that it is available to see at that time, Thursday at 7 p.m.
Okay, awesome. And for availability, where will they be able to get your book? Is it online or is it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. I'm working on getting it in some other stores and retailers. That takes some time though. And you can purchase the book by contacting me directly. I'm quite active on Facebook, so I live on both of my phones, between my iPhone and my work phone, so I should respond eventually if you reach out to me that way. And through my email address, my personal email is anathandelong@gmail.com. That's Nathan DeLong, all one word, my first initial, middle, and last name. Most people don't know Nathan's my middle name, so.
No, I didn't know that. I thought your first name was Nathan for sure.
Yeah, it throws a lot of people for a loop when they see name Aubrey DeLong attached to me.
For sure. So what do you find the most exciting thing about reporting and doing stuff around in this area?
I just find that there's so many good stories to share and a lot of interesting people. I mean, I've always believed that everybody has a story to tell, whether it's a community with a rich history or an individual. So
yeah, there's a lot goes on here for sure. I was talking to
noticed that. I cover City Hall full time, so that keeps me on my toes. I'm at City Hall Tuesdays at 6 and Wednesdays at noon, usually for city council meetings or standing committee meetings, I guess Wednesdays at noon. I cover a fair bit of sports as well, and I've noticed that's something people take a lot of pride in and are quite actively involved in. There's a lot of good stories there. I've just known from a young age that I wanted to work in like the media or news business and be a storyteller. And, I was a weird kid, I guess, growing up. I was fascinated with the world around me. And, I was made fun of as a kid because I was interested in politics at a rather young age, but I don't have any party affiliation, nor do I have any plans to join one or run anytime soon. But I wouldn't be able to work as a journalist if I did, I guess. But it was just that I discovered at a young age, like I say, that my calling, if you will, was to work in the media business and be a storyteller and get paid to ask questions and take photos and share people's stories.
So do you get a lot of comments on your stories or people writing into you or anything?
A lot of it's verbal feedback. Like I just happen to run into people in passing who say, "Oh yeah, I read your article about, such and such topic and it was really well done," or "Have you thought of this angle?" Or have you thought to talk to this person? And I get a few people reaching out on Facebook as well with feedback. But
that's awesome. Well, anything that can spread good news around here is I'm up for that always.
Oh, me too.
I'm tired of the TV and the baloney that's on there anyway. I don't even watch it anymore. I gave up on all the news and all the local. It's all about local. What's really happening to the people around us. I think
that's what a lot of people care most about. What matters most to a lot of folks. I mean, like I go back to the City Hall example. Like you'd be surprised how few people pay attention to City Hall in the physical sense. Like you're often lucky to get one or two people in the gallery at meetings, but
most people don't even know the councilors' names. I'm trying to change all that. Yeah,
where a lot of the decisions are made that affect us the most.
Yeah,
or impact locally. But I mean, believe it or not, I'm a journalist who does not watch TV and consumes very little news outside of work because, like you mentioned, I mean, there's just been so much negativity in the world and craziness over the past year and a half, especially. That
seems like a lot of propaganda to me.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, my friend. I a lot of that I can't argue.
Yeah, that's true. But if you can get local stuff, that's great, because then it's real and the people that they're talking about, and you can actually participate in it. And I like that. Well,
yeah, exactly.
We look forward to your book coming out for sure. That's going to be awesome, and people have a chance to read some of the history of Woodstock. You got any other books planned coming up in the future?
I've got a few ideas in the hopper for books that are still in very early stages. Like there's so much. I've noticed there's so much history just on the Miramichi that I'd probably be able to produce several books if I put my mind to it and get some research in.
You'd be surprised. I was talking with Kevin Vickers. You remember the Liberal leader? That he's retired now, but everybody knows who Kevin Vickers is. We were talking about all the great people in Miramichi that people don't even know about. People that negotiated the Taliban and all the stuff that happened over there. There's so many people here that are doing stuff around the world even now that we don't even know. They're not in the news. You never hear about them. And there's some great stories to be had here for sure.
Oh yeah, we definitely got plenty of unsung heroes. So
oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of those. And we gotta
I've also thought of doing books on like the covered bridges around the province and a bit of the history there. I'm interested in doing one on roadside attractions as well. There's a lot of unique and quirky attractions that draw people off the highway in what is often perceived as a drive-through province to spend time in communities and check things out, whether it's the world's largest axe, the longest covered bridge, the largest lobster, largest fiddlehead. I'm starting to wonder if there's a trademark on the slogan "Everything's bigger in Texas," because I've kind of thought of using the title "Everything's bigger in New Brunswick" if I can publish that book.
I'm one of those guys that stops at every one of them. I love all that stuff.
Oh, me too.
So interesting. How did this get here and why? It's kind of always curious.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
What led me to write a book on the Woodstock area. I mean, back to that topic. I mean, I found as I was researching, throughout high school and whatnot, after that Heritage Fair project in middle school, is when I really wanted to take that pursuit further, I guess. Although I knew in probably high school a few years later that I was interested in doing a book eventually on the Woodstock area. I found as I was researching, though, that there were not many books or publications or works readily available summing up like the general history of the Woodstock area. And for a town that prides itself so much on its history, or so it says, I was just kind of dismayed, I guess, in the moment at why there wasn't a recent version of its history readily available when so many other communities have had recent versions of theirs written and published. A lot of the works, I guess, physical works that I had read from and pulled information from for this book were long out of print and, like I say, weren't readily available. So it's nice that I could finally put it all together into one volume. And I actually probably got enough information for two books this while I was researching Woodstock. So there's a lot that I couldn't include in this book, or it would have turned into a thick Russian novel type thing in no time. And the more pages I printed, the more it would cost me to publish too. So I'm self-published, so that's another thing worth noting, I guess. But I got enough information, probably, like I say, for two books. So there's another idea that's in the hopper for the future.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we look forward to your book coming out and your book release on Thursday. And finding out as much as we can about Woodstock and all the information and all the great writing you're doing in the journal. And hopefully we can keep that up and keep finding out all the heroes in town. There we go.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to that.
No trouble. And thank you for this interview, Nathan, and for all you do for the community.
My pleasure, Rob. Thanks for having me on. It was great to catch up with you.
No trouble. You have a great day.
Thanks, Rob. You too. Take care.
There we go. So that'll be on. That'll play tomorrow at 1:00 on the This Is Life show, and then it'll post up online as well.
Awesome. That'd be great. I'd be happy to share it. So.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. No, I'll get that. I can put the YouTube interview up right away, but the radio one won't go on until tomorrow.
Yeah, you're probably a natural for radio, so I actually was thinking we might have been live and that you were recording this for the air right now earlier. So
no, because I had already done today's show earlier, and I have Chad DePlacy coming up next year and from City Council. So we got I got 3 or 4 on the go here today already. It's kind of crazy.
You've got multiple stories in the can.
Oh yeah, always. Well, we have shows on Saturday and stuff now too. Like we have the City Life. Trying to do the same thing as you, basically get people to know what City Council's about. Because I'm tired of everybody saying, "Oh, I hate what's going on," but they don't even know who the city councilors' names are. So this way, maybe they get a little bit of
paper. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes them a little accountable too, because if they're on air and they have to talk about it, it's like, oh, well, maybe I should do something about this. So next time you ask me, you can say, yeah, I actually worked on this or didn't work on it. So I like that idea.
It gives them an opportunity to be a little more mindful of the justification for some of the decisions they make and their rationale and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the whole point behind it. We'll see if it works, but hopefully.
Well, it's like a lot of what I do too is just give as many people and perspectives as possible an opportunity to share their points of view on a certain topic and let the readers come to their own conclusions. And
oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, that's the way I was taught anyway, even though there's a lot of journalists out there that, you know, I guess don't do that. And they're, you know, what's the term for it? They, I guess they lean a little toward inserting themselves in their own stories.
Oh yeah. Their own stories and their own, biases. Yeah,
that's,
sure.
That's probably why it was a good idea for us both to cut the cord and not watch cable TVs.
Oh yeah. That'll twist you.
Like blurred the lines between op-ed and, you know,
yeah. Start realizing through the Trump ordeal that it's no longer news anymore. It's just some game show I'm watching on TV. It's not real.
Yeah, I know it. He's hopefully a footnote in history fairly soon.
Oh, but, yeah, I think so. But what he did do is open up people's eyes to how much baloney it all is.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what am I watching here? It's just ridiculous.
Oh, it was. And it's from what little bit I've seen from a lot of mainstream media in the US, it's fascinating to see, I guess, to say the least, how many networks and agencies and whatnot in the news business still are fixated on him and haven't stopped talking about him and January 6th and the election and all that stuff. It's crazy. It's time to get the business of the nation.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much going on that there's so many important things going on. So what can you do?
Yeah,
all
exactly.
right, I'll get, as soon as I get that up and running, I'll send it over to you, the link, so you can post it up and get people to see it as soon as possible.
Yeah, please do. I look forward to it. And that's a good option for people who maybe aren't listening to the radio or aren't in the radio catchment area who.
Oh yeah. You never know. Eh? I'm still getting used to the whole social media aspect of it and getting all that out there. But if we're doing the radio stuff anyway, you might as well do this and throw it up. It can't hurt anything, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've actually got an interview tomorrow morning at I think it's at 10 with Pure Country 104, the radio station in Woodstock. So
oh, perfect. Yeah,
I reached them with my press kit as well, and
awesome.
Reached out to me this morning asking if I was free for a chat. So
perfect.
Looking forward to that. That'll be done over the phone though, so you won't have to see my mug. But
oh, well. Sometimes people like to see who they're talking to, right? It's kind of
exactly.
It could be interesting. All right. I'll talk to you after, Nathan. And thanks a lot for the interview.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. I'll let you get back to work now, but thanks again.
I suppose I better go do some more work.
It was great to finally meet you, at least virtually anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once this is all over, maybe we'll come across each other one of these days. For sure.
Okay, never before you run into me. I'm always out and about.
Oh, definitely. All right. Take her easy.
Take care. Catch you later.